Hey,
everybody.
everyone. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to our Don't Be This Girl podcast. My name is Cyndi Galley, and I'm joined by my amazing co-host,
Yvette Osborne.
Yes, in the flesh, in the flesh. How are you doing,
Here
my
we
friend?
are.
How are things going?
I am good. We're in sunny California,
Yeah.
76 degrees, no humidity. How about yourself?
Well, I'm in the very beautiful state of Tennessee, and it is very muggy and it's very humid, and I love it. My hair is loving it.
All natural.
Yes, yes. It's kind of nice just to well, not kind of, it's nice to let my hair down and just let it breathe and not do all the hot flat iron and all of the things that it's been used to having. Trust me, I will be happy when that picks up again, but I have really enjoyed just allowing it to get healthy.
Yes, exactly. I was going to say it's a time for it to kind of restore itself.
Yeah, yeah. So good. So good. How are you doing? How are things going?
We're doing good. Things are moving along. Work's moving along. It's nice. Things are really great. So I'm excited to be here.
Me too. We've got a wonderful, wonderful, powerful, empowering topic. We have just been seeing so many headlines. And, I know that there's this saying that there's nothing new under the sun, but, one headline, Diamond Bar man arrested in Huntington Beach, slaying of woman he had been dating. And you just see this over and over again. Man sentenced to 30 years to life for fatally beating and strangling his girlfriend in Anaheim. I mean, this is just really only in California that you're seeing. That I know we talked about this one that we had seen on YouTube. Woman discovers fiance's secret life after he dies on wedding day.
Yeah.
And there are so many red flags.
Yeah.
Each of these women, and we've talked about it even in our book, the red flags that we experienced, that we saw, and we just avoided them. We ignored it. We just choose to not see it. But they were very red. They were very loud. And it wasn't just like one red flag. There were several red flags,
Yes.
And so how can we empower women to say, come on, girls, open your eyes, get up, look and call it out for what it is. Everyone is so opinionated these days, yet when it comes to the matters of the heart, the matters of love, you just act like you don't see, but you are a smart woman. Women are smart, intelligent beings. They know when they see a red flag.
Yeah. So we can't be in denial. That's the
Right.
biggest thing. And we can't be so desperate for love or what we think love is.
Yep.
Maybe it's just companionship. Maybe it's just having someone to, post on social media. It's not real until it's real on Facebook. How many times have we heard that?
Right.
Right.
So
But,
sad. Yeah.
looking at those things, finding the red flags, seeing the red flags, and just knowing, I think setting someone up to know what they're worth, what they're really looking for,
Yeah.
so that we can avoid the red flags and honestly avoid a bunch of wasted time.
Yeah.
Because, everything goes by so fast here and it's like you can jump from one relationship to the other. But, there's so much to be said about knowing exactly where you want to be, exactly who you want to be, who you want your partner to be, and really seeking that and looking for that instead of just that hot guy.
Mm-hmm. That hot guy, or maybe he's not even hot, because let's be real, there are some relationships and you see this beautiful woman with the guy and you're like, who treats her horribly, and you're like, girl, just leave him. Like he's not even that good looking of a dude, but for some reason there's something about that, I guess you could call it false security. It's a false sense of security. And you and I both talk about it in our book. We actually have a chapter attributed to it a little bit. We just kind of glossed over it lightly, but it was in the character of Iris Simpkins on the movie The Holiday, where Jasper, her boss, he treated her horribly. He was emotionally abusive. He used her. He was engaged to another woman. And he really was abusing both of them, if you think about it. But he just strung Iris along, but yet she was so in love with him. And it's embarrassing. It's cringy when you watch it on the holiday. You're going, oh my gosh, I hate this scene, because he's lying to her. She gets him this beautiful gift, takes the time to invest in finding him the perfect gift, wraps it. And she's so deflated when he's like, oh, I got you one too. And she's like hopeful, but it's not here. It's like, dude, you don't have a gift for her.
Right.
You are a liar. And once again, here she is like forgiving, like, oh, it's okay. And we're not called to be these doormats. You and I have a very, very dear friend who we know that took her life because of a broken relationship. And it's not even hearsay. I mean, I know you had conversation with, I believe you said it was her father.
Yeah.
And even in news articles after she took her life, it was quoted that her family members were contacted and said that she had made comments to commit suicide by train. It was because of a relationship.
Yeah.
And this guy was not even a good guy. He wasn't even good to her.
Right. And many relationships leading up to that, she just wanted to hang on to so much, wanting that maybe the lifestyle that other friends had, and just looking for that and hanging on to that, and this last one was, and this is also a little bit on the red flag side of, know who this person really is. This person was leading her on.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I go back and I look at things on social and I'm like, there was pictures of them so deeply in love. And, I thought just looking in, marriage was coming, children were coming,
Wow.
and so can you imagine how heartbroken she was, but yeah. And we talk about this too, also, like, seeing your friends mention something, because one of her last posts was something about, I can't remember exactly her words, but when when it's time to stop thinking or something like that.
The moment when you just want to stop thinking.
Yes.
#prayers needed.
Yes. And you know what, you guys, social media has made it so easy for us to just like or comment on a post. But sometimes we need to do more. And as women who are trying to lift up women, we need to go that extra route and just, maybe a phone call and say, hey, let's meet for coffee.
Yeah.
Because what could have that conversation with one person have done, for her heart, for what she felt, and just, kind of talking it out with somebody who knew that maybe that wasn't the right thing for her.
That's so good. I love that you're talking about that, because I think, when we are in that vulnerable state, and you and I both talk a lot about that in our book, we're very vulnerable about not every relationship, because really we just said, okay, Lord, help us bring to remembrance the relationship that fits in with this particular topic. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, I forgot that even happened, because, life, and now I'm in my 50s and you don't remember everything that you've been through. But I do love that is, the friendships are important. Friendships are wonderful. Sisterhood is a beautiful thing. It's one of the things that I love most about my life. I feel so rich and enriched by you being one of my dearest friends. I mean, I feel like God has brought me wonderful women. Same. But let's be real. There have been seasons maybe where there are women in your life, or friends, or younger girls, and they're mean girls, or they're just out to get you. They want to see you spiral downward. And if you are in that vulnerable state, it's so important to, like, if you can at least see this person is not good for me, they don't lift me up. They don't tell me nice things. They want to see me destroyed. They are always making fun of me. They're always, and yet they're always jealous of me, or whatever it is. And I think that you just bring such a good point about, yes, lifting that person up. So we should be around women and people that will lift us up, not judge, and still give you that room to grieve, to cry, to mourn, but who will also say, okay, are you ready? Because we need to get you up and out of this pit. Somebody who will, people that want to pull you out of the pit.
Yeah, for sure. Because you don't want to, be around somebody who's just going to be like, it's going to be okay. You're good. Just keep going, or the worst part,
Mm-hmm.
you can fix him. And that's usually something that, we as women sometimes, we think, oh, well, we can fix the situation. Or
Right.
even maybe somebody of faith who would say, God can fix this situation. Well, the red flag is the red flag, and it's there for you to see. So
Yeah.
we have to step back and, you can't fix anyone. You have to remind ourselves like that is not what we're here for, right? We're
Right.
here, especially in a relationship, to be loved and to be supported and to mutually have,
Honored and respected.
yes, that respect, mutually for each other,
Yeah.
and I mean, there's so many things and that, movies and books, hey, the book, he's really not that into you. These are all books and movies that are talking about the same topic that we're, going about right now. It's the red
Right.
flags.
He's just not that into you. And it's so true. We talk about it in our book is that, men don't need our help. And there might be men that are clueless, but really when it comes to pursuing that, that's what they're created to do. They are hunters. They are created to pursue, and we're created to receive, to be recipients. Um, Even if you look at it, even in a sexual way, husband and wife, the man is depositing, the woman is receiving. She's receiving that. Do you know what I'm saying? And so, um, things have just, sometimes we get out of proportion and we want to pursue the man. And I know I talk a little bit about that in my book. I, sometimes would manipulate a situation so that he could pursue me. But again, do we really want to be in a relationship that we have manipulated? Because there might even be some women in that situation. And again, some of those headlines that I just read, they're heartbreaking headlines. No woman should be a victim of manslaughter from someone that she thought loved her and who was in love with her, and we see it happening over and over again. More recently, in that beautiful woman, Mika Miller, and
Yes.
we don't know. I mean, it's hearsay that it was suicide. We don't know. And I don't know what the findings are, but I know that her loved ones were demanding an investigation because the husband, or I think they were actually already separated, he didn't seem to be a safe person,
Hmm.
and again, it's like the women, sometimes we just avoid those red flags. I know when I was younger, I really did avoid, and I ignored so many red flags. So then 3 years later, he's still cheating. He's still emotionally and verbally abusive and mentally abusing me. And
Hmm.
and I'm still in it. Why was
Why do
I
we do
still
that?
in it? Right? And
Yeah.
now that I'm older at 55, I'm like, what was wrong with me? Well, there were things that were wrong with me. I didn't know my worth. I didn't know who I was. My identity, I had no identity. I didn't know, do I like this? Do I like that? I mean, and let's just be real. This whole thing with identity to me is ridiculous because you don't even come into your true self until you're past your 25 and older. I found myself when I was 27. It's like, this feels so good. This is who I am. I'm
Yeah.
loud. I'm Latina. I'm black. A little bit of white. I'm have curly hair. I'm talkative. I love people. So don't be with a man that's going to be shushing you when you're loud,
Oh my goodness. No. Oh
right?
my goodness. No, no. That would not work for either one of us.
Girl, come on. Let's be real. And that's who we are. but yet we're so willing. I know we have another, because we have some wonderful topics podcast for our podcast, but that's one of the ones that we talk about is losing yourself. I lost myself. I didn't, I grew up playing the piano. I grew up singing in choirs and trios and duets. And this guy hated when I sang. He hated me playing the piano. And so I stopped being me. I stopped doing the things that I loved. I shut the real me down just to please this man who was not faithful. He was not kind. I do believe he loved me in his own weird way, but is that what we really want, Ivette? And do
No,
we want women? Women, do you? And maybe you're men and you're listening and you've also found yourself in this kind of relationship. Is that what you really want? No, it's
no,
not.
do not be that girl. Do not be the girl who is going to change who they
Yes.
are for someone
Yes.
else. And I agree. I found myself in that same situation multiple times. And I'm like, wow, it's like, do I have multiple personalities? No. But
Oh, it's
because
so
I
sad.
wanted to make someone else happy, because I
Yeah.
wanted to be the one that was the one, right?
Yeah.
And I think I shared this with you before that, there was a guy that I was obsessed with. I was so
Mhm.
infatuated with him. Um, and I thought that I was the lucky one because I lived with him, because I had a life with him for 4 years. But in 4 years, even before that, I mean, gosh, if I'm honest with myself and I think back to when we first started dating and I
Yeah.
started to find out some of these things, like, where does he live? Oh, he takes me to his house and I see all this diet food. I'm like, are you on a diet? Like, no, it was
Yeah.
his girlfriend's food, and it was
Oh
like,
my goodness.
I felt so dirty, but at the same time, I wanted to be with this guy so bad that I just kind of said, okay, well, I took the story. I believe the story. Oh, we're separated, but I don't have anywhere to live yet. No, sister. Okay. If you, or brother, because if this is you, if you are done with a relationship, be done with the relationship. Do what you
Yeah.
have to do to get out. Do what you have to do to move on
Yeah.
before you start another relationship, because
Yeah.
that was my first red flag
Yeah.
and I did not take it. I was
Mm.
like, no, let's do a yellow flag.
Yeah.
I was like, let's lower that, seriousness of that reality down to something else so that I can continue this relationship. And it was red flag after red flag after red flag. And I just kept thinking, well, he spends the most time with me. I'm the lucky one. I'm the one
Wow.
invited to family things. I'm the lucky one,
Hmm.
and it's, again, it was me trying to be a certain person that he wanted me to be for
Yeah.
him. And I mean, I completely changed everything that I knew. I was in a
Hmm.
whole different lifestyle that I, probably wouldn't have found myself in before.
That's so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And then it takes a long time to heal from that, And the thing is, I think the thing that's hard too is I don't feel like every woman does, because all of that takes work. But a lot of times when you're in that kind of a relationship, you endure it. And however it ends, sometimes it is a fatal ending. We are reading more and more. These endings are fatal. I think I had sent you an article via text where a guy had held his girlfriend hostage up in her dorm for 3 days, beating her and strangling her. And it's like, is that what you want? Like, is that what you stayed in this relationship to endure that? No. And I think it's why we get so passionate about it. It's because we don't want women to endure this type of behavior anymore. You don't have to stay in this relationship. Even if you don't know who you are, we pray, and our prayer and our heart is that your eyes would be opened, because you already know deep down in your heart if you're honest with yourself. And this is why true friendships are important because those friends should say, hey, girl, again, you don't belong in there. We need to get you out of this relationships. And I had friends like that who loved me. They said, he's not a good guy. And I said, I don't care. I love him. And they still stayed with me, but I knew they did not care for him and the way he treated me. So they were not a part of our life, but they were still a part of mine. And I'm thankful for that. One in particular just kept saying, I just will keep praying for you. She would pray for me, pray for me, pray for me. Till one day, there I was. I know you talked about seeing your guy with somebody at a bar.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing for me. I had just come out of a bar. I was in my early 20s. I think it was 21. And I went to our hangout that we would go after we would go bar clubbing. And there he was walking out with another girl with his arm around her. And there I am in my car. And the naive, nice person that I said hi to her. I said, hi. And he's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, well, I just came back from, I think it was Peppers or something. And I was like, what are you doing here? Like, obviously,
Yeah.
And I remembered leaving and I didn't create a scene. I sobbed all the way home, like to the point where I wanted to vomit because I was so upset and distraught with what I had seen. And that was it. That was the beginning to the end for me. And
that's so interesting because this timeline of me and this guy was the same time. I think I was 22. And that just goes to, what you had said, we really don't find ourselves until our later 20s.
Yes.
But I did the same thing. And it was like, the one thing that caught me different is that I didn't have friends that were praying for me. I had friends and I was surrounded by people that were just like, okay, well, let's get him back. Like I had seen, this guy in a bar, he had told me he was going to do a gig. He was in a band and you should stay home. I'm going to be late, blah, blah, blah. And I surprised him with a bunch of my friends and went to go see his show and be supportive, the supportive girlfriend. Right. And he was there on a date with his ex-girlfriend.
Wow.
The one with the diet food. So I was like, are you kidding me right now? But, the difference was my friends were like, oh no, let's go hook you up with somebody else right now. Let's go do this and that in front of his face,
Yep.
And I didn't feel good about any of that.
No.
And I knew that that's not where my heart was, what I wanted, out of that situation. But the people that I had surrounded myself with at that time, it didn't matter because they were going to take me and they were going to mold me down this, kind of like, well, he did it, you can do it kind of situation. And that's not what we want, for you ladies. And that's why we're here talking about these types of topics, because
that's right.
We want you guys to know that you should be surrounded, looking for a man, looking for a man and looking for your friends. It's all the same when you start looking for women who want to lift you up, who are going to be supportive, who are like-minded with you. We want to look for the same type of people that are like-minded, because otherwise, what are you doing with these other people that, are going down the wrong roads? They are, even the girls, because this is not just about guys, but women that are having affairs and women that are, even committing these abusive situations in their life, because I've seen a lot of that, and this is just not recent. This is years and years and years of, there's a show about it. Snapped is one of the biggest shows, and I don't even know on what network, but it's about women that have snapped and have done these things. And it's like, no, that is not what your life should be. You find the red flag, you have friends that uplift you, support you, and you move on.
Yes.
And even if you're finding yourself in this situation right now, as we're speaking, there are different ways, like I said, that
organizations you can turn to.
Yes.
There are people that want to help you, and maybe they're not even in your inner circle, but
Right.
there are places and people you can Google, like, help. You
Yeah.
know, there really are.
Always, there's always that thing at the end of
Yeah.
movies or documentaries when it's about abuse. There's
Hmm.
always that phone number. If you know anyone who's been abused, there are resources everywhere. We just have to look out for them and want to, get to the other side of that. And that's
Yeah.
what we pray for every single woman that may have, or is going through something like this right now. It's not just us saying, don't do it. It's
Yeah.
us saying, we want better for you. We want
Yes.
you to get the help and to get out of a situation before it's too late.
Amen. And we know you want better for yourself. Again, I think Yvette and I both, we have shared even in our book when we were this girl, but we always knew back in the corner of our minds and deep down in our heart that there was better for us. And we're asking you to listen to that still small voice. We're asking you to surround yourself with people that say, we want to pull you up and out of this pit. And we're not saying it's going to be easy, but it will save you years and years of heartbreak, heartache, and there will be healing that needs to happen. Each of us have walked through these things where we had to walk through healing, and it was painful. It's painful because a lot of times it's attached to something that's deeper that we have had carried for years. And so
Mm-hmm.
we want to empower you. We want to see you whole. We want to see you really in a beautiful. And sometimes as women, we'll hold on to those good memories, and then you allow yourself to stay stuck in that relationship. Oh, well, he'll change. Well, he'll change, or I'll fix him. And again, just kind of to recap, not just being mindful of the red flags, but you won't fix him. He needs help. And you're not the one you're not qualified to give it to him.
Mm-mm.
You don't have what it is, because if you have not been able to fix him yet, you're not going to fix him now. He needs help. Or if you're a man and you're listening to this and you've got a woman that's abusive, she needs help. And I know, because I was physically abusive to the guy who was emotionally, mentally, and verbally abusive to me. It made
Mm.
me crazy. He made me insane. I've never been that way since. But in our book, we talk about doing the work. I've had to sit and have work done, meeting with counselors, meeting with therapists, going through therapy, going through classes that were really getting to the root of why I was behaving the way that I was. And if you've never done that, we encourage you to do it. And it's painful, it's uncomfortable, but at the end, oh my gosh, you feel like, oh,
Yeah.
this
And it
feels
opens you up.
good.
Yeah. It opens you up to find that Mr. or Mrs. Right. Right.
Yes.
If you're a man listening to this and you're looking for your Mrs. Right as well,
Yeah.
getting help for yourself,
Yeah.
that helps to
Yes.
open up those avenues where you're going to find that perfect person.
That's right. That's right. So this was so good. Again, and we will have information at the very end that will be, if you're watching this podcast, if you're listening, then we'll have it in the description, that if you are in any abusive relationship, there will be a hotline that we're going to provide, as well as a suicide hotline as well. Because you are meant for great things. You're destined for beautiful things. Yvette and I are both believers, and there's a scripture that says, I know the plans that I have for you, plans for good and not of evil, to give you a future and a
Yeah.
hope. There is
Mhm.
hope at the end of the tunnel. You will not always be in it, but if you stay in this, then you might always be in it. And so we hope that this has encouraged you, that it's inspired you. Choose your friends wisely. It's okay if you need to let go of all of those friends. If every one of them are toxic, then let it be. And I remember there was one season where I realized I need to stop this lifestyle of just constant partying just to have fun. I have to always party. That doesn't make any sense to me, because I know that I'm already a fun and a wonderful, loving person. So I stopped hanging out with all those friends, and I hung out with my mom for quite some time. I'm like, Mom, can I come over? Can we do puzzles? I mean, you have to be willing to make the changes. You have to be intentional about it. And it may feel uncomfortable for a while. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's not going to be easy. But at the end of the day, you will have your sanity. You will have your self-worth. You will have your identity. You will have peace of mind knowing that you are who you're supposed to be. You're not conforming to somebody else to please somebody else. And you're in a safe place and waiting. And like Ivette said, you're posturing yourself for something beautiful and something good. And we want that for you. And we have that for ourselves. It's
Yeah,
another
living
episode.
proof right here. Living
Yeah,
proof.
we
You
have
make
that
the
for
changes.
ourselves. And that is another episode. But Ivette has it and she'll share about it with her wonderful husband, Kyle, and they are so beautiful, so cute together. Not perfect, but they are cute. And I am single, and I can tell you, I am so full of peace. I'm so full of joy. I feel like I'm living my best life now. And if I get married, wonderful. I know it'll be the wonderful man that God has always intended for me to have. And if I never marry, I just love who I am, and all the beautiful friendships and things that has been given to me that I've been blessed with, that I feel like we're both living our best life now. And we want the same for you. So
Yeah.
great episode. Thank you, Yvette, for just, being so candid and real
Of
about
course.
of what you've walked through. If you guys have not yet purchased our book, Don't Be This Girl. It's on Amazon. It's on Barnes and Noble. Buy it for your friends. I know we have an ebook. You had mentioned you recently gifted an ebook to somebody, right?
Yes, yes. Just gave somebody an ebook so she could read it on the way home. She's got a 5-hour flight. So
Yes.
exciting that we have all these different ways for you guys to have that. So we are so happy that you're here and continue to
Yeah.
watch us and support us.
Thank you guys so much. And hey, if you're a part of a sorority and you go to a college, university, this is the book you want to get into your girlfriend's hands. Truly, this is the book. You want to do book club, get on Barnes and Noble or Amazon and purchase our book, Don't Be This Girl. You and your friends will be so glad you did. But
Yeah,
even
and we
more
would
than that,
love to come and talk to you guys about it. I mean, how fun would that be?
that would be
A
so
little
much fun.
live session with Cyndi and I.
Yes.
Hey, we're up for traveling, so let's
Yes.
go.
Let's go. Let's go. Well, we love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to Don't Be This Girl. We can't wait to be with you next time. Until then, don't be this
This girl.
girl.
Bye, guys.